The monolithic dome home, and the doors are being framed up. The blower is of course inflating it, keeping it inflated. There were two blowers for inflating it this morning. Now they've removed one of the blowers and they're just using one to keep it inflated. Now they're going to put that blower to inflate the door when they cut the door. So this is an exciting moment, isn't it? The door is being framed up and the blower is being put there for that. And if we go inside the airlock here, you can see what it looks like from the inside. It's like really like being on Mars. As we open up here, then the airlock closes and then we push this door open against the resistance. And then close that airlock door. And then step in through the hole. And you can see they've boarded up where that blower was. They're keeping this blower going. The second blower is boarded up. This is where the dining room and the living room would be. And of course you want to keep all your materials inside before you inflate. So there's here the boards and all of the rebar is inside before you inflate, because then you can't get it in again once you've inflated. So they will put down the tarp on the ground, bring in their scissor lift, bring in the wood material for framing, and bring in the rebar, and then they'll batten down the dome and inflate around it. And it is done using these battens here. They fold over the membrane and heat weld it down here, and then that part there is pressed onto the and battened down really tight. And then when we come into the room, this will be cut. So this will be where the living room is. There's another scissor lift that was brought in here before the dome was battened down and then before it was inflated. And of course, the wood for framing is already inside and the rebar is already in. So the procedure is to pour your slab, make your foundation, then put down the clear plastic sheeting, and then put in the scissor lifts and the wood and the rebar, and then batten down the membrane, and then inflate the membrane. Although here it looks like they didn't pour slab yet. This is I guess, no, they did build up a foundation, but they put dirt on it. And you can see that it's a two-story structure with a semi-dome or a hemi-dome on top. And it will have a second floor and then a first floor, and then it'll have a chamber. This will be a floor here, and there will be a staircase leading up, but also there'll be ports or doors going down to use storage in the underground area, which will be here. But a floor will be here and a floor there, so it's a two-story house made of a dome. And then it'll be cut out there. Now it's all there to make inflating easier, but this whole thing will be cut out and framed. It'll have various doors leading to different places and upstairs and leading to dining room and kitchen and bathrooms and stuff. So there's a lot of flexibility, and one thing you can do with these monolithic concrete dome homes is you can change the interiors whenever you like. The procedure will be that they will come in here and they will, in next week, after they've framed up the windows and the doors, which they're doing now, they will spray foam polyurethane. 3 inches of polyurethane will be spray foamed all the way inside, all the way up on the roof and in the other room, and then that'll be set, and that'll make it rigid. Then they can then put the rebar on the entire structure, And then once the rebar is in place, they'll do what's known as Shotcrete. They'll take a liquid concrete cement mixture that they will use a kind of gun, and they will spray it. Like they're doing spray foam, but it'll be spray concrete, spraycrete or shotcrete. And so that's how they, instead of pouring concrete into a form, they will spray it onto the rebar, which is on the polyurethane foam. So they'll be standing there and spraying it on, which is very exciting. Then it'll be all one piece, so there won't be any cold joints. It'll be a monolithic, that is one pour, or rather one spray. So you spray the foam, then you put the rebar, then you spray the concrete, and then it's of course hurricane proof up to many Cat 4 situations, possibly even Cat 5, because of the shape, the geometry, which sheds water and sheds wind. And it will be fireproof because it's one pour with no exposed wood. It's just concrete the whole way around. And the membrane, this membrane will stay intact. We're inflated, we're like inside a bounce house right now. This, once they've put the foam and put the rebar and put the shotcrete, this will be the outside, the outer membrane, and that'll weatherproof it and waterproof it. But then they will also stucco it. So what they're working on now is framing up the door, where they're going to make a penetration here, and then they're going to open this up and inflate from here. This is the vestibule, and you can hear them, they're getting ready. They just put wood on the outside of this, and then they'll make a penetration. So there will be a big, massive double door here, and this is of course going to be cut. This little hole here is just for the inflation. When they actually make this, then they'll cut a big door here, and it'll be big enough for the two scissor lifts to drive out. Otherwise the scissor lifts will be stuck in here, you'd have to live with them. So this door is going to be big enough for the scissor lift to come out. And that'll be the main entrance to the house. So scissor lift is going to be the right size door to let that scissor lift and the other scissor lift. This scissor lift here is also going to come out driving through here, because this is going to be widened and there will be doors here and a ramp, so that scissor lift can come out. So that's how you prep for a monolithic dome home, and they don't have to be domes, as you can see. Depending on the configuration, you can make them look any way you like. The dome shape, of course, the dome shape is what makes it bear loads, so you don't need to do any framing for that. You can actually hang a floor from the monolithic shotcrete cement that is forming this dome. You can hang rods and actually hang a floor, or you can of course build supports on the inside, but you have a lot of options because of the structural integrity of the curvature, the sort of the arch formation, which means it can bear an awful lot of load, and it can stand a lot of shear forces too, which is why they're really effective in high winds. So for hurricane mitigation and adaptation, the monolithic dome home is probably the best hurricane adaptation that we have in Florida. We just don't have enough of these. Certainly good for California wildfires, certainly good for earthquakes, certainly good for floods. All the natural disasters and anthropogenically enhanced disasters in the Anthropocene that we're causing, this is a profoundly effective solution so that we can continue to live in beloved coastal properties or in earthquake or fire prone or flood prone areas. You simply work with what nature and human caused climate change are causing, and that gives us higher adaptability. So this is a brilliant adaptation for the 21st century, and we're really happy to see it going on here in Florida, and really thankful to Maria for inviting us to come inside and document the process of the building. It's just spectacular. let's go out the airlock. Hello.
Oh, you're wanted outside.
Oh, thank you. The phone overheated, so I had to cool it down so that I could get the video that I wanted of what's going on inside. So this is Rob, students.
Hello.
Rob's the major domo here of the dome, so to speak. His company, South Industries from Idaho, is the expert group that is building these here in Florida for the first time. So blessings and thank you to you, Rob.
Yeah.
So let's open up the airlock. I really feel like we are on Mars. So it's pretty spectacular. Thanks for coming in. And they got you a lunch.
Yeah.
It looks like the framing is all ready, huh?
Yeah, we have to adjust the pressures, like I was saying. That one. Yeah. We're gonna run one fan there, one fan here.
Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you. Let me just take a quick walk around the place so you can see it from all aspects. Get a look at it. This morning it was just a pancake of folded PVC cloth, and then we watched over 3 to 5 minutes the fans inflate it until it was this nice rigid structure. So the cool thing about building a monolithic dome is that within minutes of starting the inflation, you can get a sense of what the house is going to look like inside and out and how spacious it is. You don't have to wait for weeks and weeks. You know that that's exactly the amount of space you're going to have, only that the foam is going to be sprayed on the inside, then the rebar, then the shotcrete is going to go on the inside. So the outside is going to look exactly like that until it's eventually stuccoed and painted. But you can mock up whatever form you like with a monolithic dome home. Pretty spectacular. And you can see those wooden panels that are laid down there are for framing up doors and windows. You can see how, because this is in a flood-prone area, in the lowlands here, you can see the water over there on that lake. This has to be built up, and that was a considerable part of the cost, mounding that. If you build in a surface that is flat and elevated and dry, then you don't go through this expense of making the foundation for it. But this has to be up. Even so, since it's all going to be monolithically poured and shot from the inside, were the floodwaters to rise, they would not be catastrophic for the house, because they are it's a fully formed one form sealed situation. So you can imagine that if floodwaters did rise over here, the water wouldn't be able to get in, because it's all going to be one single, not a pour, because you're not pouring the concrete, but one single spray all the way up and over. So that's pretty spectacular.